if you take all the money along in the world of the biggest rich men, the money of the richest men in the world, and you distribute among everyone in the world, the poor and everyone gets that money. Soon, that money will go back to the pockets of the smart ones. Nowadays, it's not the TV, it's the phone. 100% people are. In the olden days, it was TV that was used to come home. You take your crunches, you stay on the couch, you watch. Now you're wasting more time. But at the same time, now the phones, the TikToks, everything. I personally use TikTok sometimes. I forget myself. I see spending 2 hours, 3 hours. I say, wow, what if those 2 hours I've invested in my personal development? I study a course, I study something, and then I start practicing. I borrow some money from a friend, I start something. In 1 year, 2 years' time, you already built. A person who's watching, you leave behind because you're ahead of him.
Hello dear viewers, welcome back again to Ayanle Abdirashid podcast, another episode where we are going to talk about the diving straight into mentorship and continuous learning. And today we are pleased to have again Mr. Mohammed, who has not only have had a successful career in business, but also had great mentorship mentors who have helped him dive into business. And today we are going to learn more about mentorship from him. Welcome, Mr. Mohammed.
Thank you, Mr. Rajab. I'm here and I'm pleased, I'm excited to be with my viewers, and I'd like to share the little knowledge God gave me, and you can ask me valuable questions. I'm here to answer them.
Okay, I'm going straight to the point. Maybe there is that viewer or listener wanting to know that for anyone who needs or who wants to start a business, why do you think that mentorship is a very critical factor for him or her?
Thank you. Mentorship or mentor is a person who has done more than you, who has achieved a lot, and who has passed a long way or a journey before you. So, for example, it's like a roadmap. A person who has passed a certain road, and then he knows in and out of all the routes. For example, we say maybe you are walking along the desert or the Sahara Desert. It's a vast land, but there are those people who are born there who knows a lot, and then you want to cross the Sahara Desert. If you misbehave, you'll end up dying or end up being lost within the wilderness of the Sahara Desert. But here comes a person who passes a caravan who are 10 to 20 generations. They know the Sahara, where it starts and where it ends. They know this type of winds. Then if you seek their advice, you ask them, how can I go from point A to point B without losing to the vastness of the world? Because you have little resource in the desert. Yeah. For example, that's what we do in business. You don't have to lose a lot of things. So I'm giving the example to show the significance of a mentor in a business. For that person who is in the desert, when he tells you, take this line and move only that line. Don't just sway. If you just little sway, you get lost, your resource depletes, and then the sand dunes going to eat you alive. Okay. And then from there, all your energy goes down. After all, you lost. By coming back and going forth, you'll end up dying there. That is an analogy. But the real fact is, in business, you need someone who has done more than you. For example, me, I was being mentored. I appreciate God. After God, my parents, my school teachers, all those. Besides that, the business I'm succeeding today, alhamdulillah, the business of schools, I was mentored by the likes of Istikama Group of Schools, the chairman and his siblings, Habib Omar, Ali Omar. They really took my hand. They gave me advice where I needed. And then they were having almost 8 schools to 7 schools. Then when I was starting, they inspired me. I knew them having nothing. All of a sudden, within 3-4 years, they were successful running group of schools. So I went to them. They really mentored me. They really told me the challenges, everything you expect. And then I started with my first branch. The rest is history. Today, alhamdulillah, I'm running several big schools. Yeah.
Okay, and talking about mentor, there is a variety of mentors. There is general mentors and there is that personal mentor. And talking about mentors, it is better said than done. How can you explain to that individual listening to you the best ways, or giving out examples? Who are your mentors? For example, your personal, let's say like authors, and how do you go about selecting your mentors?
First of all, for me to select someone as my mentor, first I have to study the person. They must have done something greater than me. They have accomplished what I want. For example, currently, I would like to reveal I'm on a training on a gym. If I go to that gym, I have to look the best instructor. the way his body has built, the way I want. If I want to bulk, if I want to cut muscles, then I will choose a trainer or a mentor in terms of the physiological building. It's in the same also in business. So every department, if God allows you to have something in your pocket, you can have several mentors. We are not saying only business. Maybe a person who's entertainment, he has to learn from the DJs you want. Yes. If another person is in business, so a mentor is a person who has achieved more than you have done. And a second thing is he has to align with my goals, because personally I like respect, honest, trust. Those are my key values. We have to align in those. That's what I seek from a mentor. And then he really gives me a challenging goals to grow. That's a person. And then I really take my negative feedbacks or positive feedback, so that a mentor really stimulates you to grow that holistic person. Currently, I do have several mentors, alhamdulillah. One is my trainer at the gym. Others are my friends who have done better than me in the school business, in other things. I always call, ask them. It's not much that you have to have the mentor every day you're going like a school. No, just by nowadays, people are so busy. Yeah. And real mentors, you don't see them because they value their time. You can't get hold of. Personally, I mentor those who are below me, who want to seek my advice. I give them honest reviews, honest things about the way to conduct business, the way to go spiritually. They go, whatever little I know, maybe whoever asks me who's below me, I really mentor them. And these podcasts are a way of also mentoring the viewers who are watching all over the world. At least that's why I'm also able to share. Okay. So I think that's what values I check from a mentor. And then whenever we align, those are the key values I check on.
Okay. And I understand that mentorship and self-drive are factors that go hand in hand. And you as an individual or someone's mentors that you study, each day you study new things. How do you cope up with this continuous learning?
Yes, alhamdulillah. In fact, I'm so happy to talk about self-studies after God. First, we are Muslims. We say everything success belongs to God. It's Him who guides us, and we thank Him. Second principle that really took me where I am today, alhamdulillah, from humble beginning to now a self-made, at the same time a self-made businessman who really thriving, alhamdulillah, and who is young, eager, inshallah, in 10 years' time, where I am, I want to be 10 times ahead where I am. So I think the foundation years, continuous learning has helped me. After all, Jim Rohn has mentored me before, and then he taught me self-study will make you a fortune. You know, there's that quote always, it is in my mind. He says that basic education will give you a living, just like another thing, but self-education will make you a fortune. Why self-education? Because if you're in the film industry, you have to study the best film industry, the best, so that now every time you improve your business, likelihood of you succeeding will be high, and mentally and other things. So I think from there, self-learning, that's what I took. I took it myself that every time I have to stay ahead of my industry. The industry of education is changing. Now currently we are facing a severe change in the education system in Kenya. That's my business. So do I have to cry? No. I have to seek how to survive, how to do this. Any industry will be touched in every 5-8 years. Something happens. It changes. Okay. For people who are now supplying internet in Kenya, things are changing for them. Starlink is coming with just a dish satellite. With time, in 2-3 years' time, the value of the dish now is expensive to buy. It will be cheaper as they procure and produce less cost. Yeah. Now, a person who's in that industry who was not ahead of others, he'll have invested a lot of cables, a lot of nonsense, a lot of things. All of a sudden, someone buys, they share friends, they add something. So the situation, that's the self. So I think the question was, personal continuous learning has really helped me. I listen to the right podcasts, I read books. In fact, I'm blessed to have the biggest library, I think, in my home. Always I dedicate one room for my library, my office, and from that, it's like a secret. I really enjoy the books, and the books I buy are financial, success oriented, financial. I've read almost, I think, in my library, not less than 500 books are there and still growing. And my goal is to read 2,000 to 3,000 books in 10-15 years, so that if I read consistently on daily basis, even if it's 15 minutes to 1 hour, a person can reach a lot in terms of potential. I think after God, my self-study has really put, yes, I'm a graduate. Yes, I've done from high school. Yes, and whatever I'm telling you, you test it yourself.
Yeah.
For example, currently you are self-teaching on editing, on everything, not only hosting a podcast.
Yeah.
Now that's a skill. Once you learn, you have something in your hand.
Yeah, that's
And then you keep improving. You don't stay irrelevant. Otherwise, you don't learn new things, just forget everything. Yes?
Yeah.
So focusing on self-study, listening to the right podcast. In terms of you want your financial to grow, you have to listen to the right podcast.
Okay.
Then you have to study. And then the best way either to get out and get rich is through starting a business. And starting a business is a mountain and challenge. The taxes, the everything, the economy. Now the economy is bad here in Kenya, but you should not be crying. It's the best time to start a business. While others are running away, it's the best to start. But people expect when good things happen, that's when they want to start. No. Start where you are, do what you can, with whatever you have. I think continuous learning was phenomenal that happened to me. It can happen to you. Always set aside 15 to 20 minutes. My boy or girl, you're going to reach far.
Okay, that's great, I think. And talking about wise quotes, I think there are so many quotes in the current situation, and it only depends with someone's wisdom to detect the best quote to use. Is there any scenario whereby there is a quote by your mentor that has driven you to where you are right now?
Yes. My biggest person who touched in my heart after God is Jim Rohn, and I like one of his best quotes. One of the quotes, if I could remember, is your personal development is in proportional to your income. So he says that your personal success is in proportion to your personal development. He says the more you self-develop yourself, you study, you read, you go to your gym, you go and build. And for him, success he divided into three: the spiritual, that is your God and relationship; the family as a relationship and other things; and then your wealth. For wealth is your business, your career. If you're employed, you're doing the right things. If you're employed, you don't work like an employee. You work more than employee. You solve a lot of things. If you're a typewriter, you don't only stop typewriting. You add the organization other things that you are not paid. That value creates tomorrow when the economy is bad. A person will not downsize you. He will think which employees to remain with. The best will remain. The crooks, the ones who are coming, eating, will be the first to sweep. And the valuable will be, because no person can survive without good employees. And then if your employee, be the best. If you're in business, outwork your competitors, outwork everyone. Keep your doors open, because business sometimes challenges, economic, financial, will make you close your business, yes?
Yeah.
So having that extra stamina is... So Jim Rohn really taught me is if a person's personal growth is not growing, that's what he told me. If it's not growing and all of a sudden he learns $1 million, and a person's capacity and the mental capacity and the personal development is down, and then he luckily jumps and gets money, that person is easily to lose that 1 million. Why? Because in his mind, he doesn't have the capacity to hold the money. First, he doesn't have the capacity to expand and invest in business, because his personal development is, and he has never invested himself. So and a person who has invested his personal development, who read books, who has big goals, if he gets the same million, he can make it 10, 20 million. The other person will go gambling, will go enjoying, will go providing his friends. All of a sudden, in some time, he loses. So there's that quote, always, I like it. And he says, if you take all the money along in the world of the biggest rich men, the money of the richest men in the world, and you distribute among everyone in the world, the poor and everyone gets that money, soon that money will go back to the pockets of the smart ones. Why? It's because they're so smart that now they will create you have a problem, you have too much money. They'll start thinking of the ideas to start, and then how will they get your money? Because a person with low capacity in terms of personal development will spend and blow away his money. But a rich man who is smart, will come up with solutions. He will put a systems, because he has lost the money, yes, but he had the system, the people, everything is in the mind. It's like you're riding a bicycle. The moment you learn, is it next time you see a bicycle, will you cry? Will you start falling? No. Already now is a business, you know how to drive, how to get the money, in fact, the same person can gather fundraising, and then he gets the money from this. He starts a company like Tesla, and then he starts selling shares. You buy his shares, you give him the money, he sets up everything, he makes profit, and he'll contribute you something. Now he took money from you, for example, and he started a business with. At the same time, he will create, maybe you love TVs, maybe you like drinking alcohol, he will create brands with little money from here and there, and then he starts selling to you. The more you buy his products, the more you are making him rich, the more he's getting back his money. In 10 years' time, the same money that went across all the world will go back to the same pocket that had. And that concept is because they know how to attract the money. But a person who has not built himself won't know how to attract. So that is an example of self-study. A person who is capacitated, the moment he gets money, he's humble. He doesn't just taken away by the pride. That's what I believe. That's what I practice. Alhamdulillah. Personally, my income and my way of life are too different. I really stay personally a humble life. I drive average a normal car because I do have the capacity to drive. Like for example, big cars, the SUVs. But for me, staying still with my just everyday car will make me, because I want to build something big. I want to take that money that I could have bought a big branded car of maybe $60,000, $50,000. I'm thinking of how many businesses can you start here in Africa. And dear viewers, Africa is the best place to start business because of low regulations, because of low capital to investing, and many youth in Africa are having excuse of not starting a business. Why? It's just 100,000 Kenya shillings. At $1,000, you can start. Even 50,000 Kenya shilling, someone can start a business. But what people lack is that mentality, the mindset, and the right things. Yeah. Because someone who is not is just watching the entertainment 90%, then how can you succeed? If you are watching others, you're with them, they are making money through your watching. And a person was asked, how much does your TV cost you? I said, it just only costs me $30. It only costs me $300 or 30,000, 50,000. No, it's costing you time. In that time, if you equate by the end of the year, you could have added 100, 200,000 Kenya shilling. That is $2,000. That TV is costing you that extra time. You're wasting 4 hours, 5 hours. Nowadays, it's not the TV, it's the phone. 100% people are. In the olden days, it was TV that was used to come home. You take your crunches, you stay on the couch, you watch. Now you're wasting more time. But at the same time, now the phones, the TikToks, everything. You know, I personally use TikTok sometimes. I forget myself. I see spending 2 hours, 3 hours. I say, wow, what if those 2 hours I've invested in my personal development? I study a course, I study something, and then I start practicing. I borrow some money from a friend, I start something. In 1 year, 2 years' time, you already built. A person who is watching, you leave behind because you're ahead of him. Yeah. But this thing now is like a modern slavery, and everyone is competing for our attention. That's why I chose to be a creator of content instead of being a consumer 100%. And I consume the best version of the podcast that drive me forward. Yes, Rajab.
Okay, and talking about, let's say like peer pressure, whereby some people do things because others do.
Yes.
I think that goes in hands. Let's say like someone gambles with money and gets a lot of money, spends in something with the intention of making a profit. What advice will you give to that individual who thinks of setting up a business without a mentor? What is the benefit of having a mentor in a business?
Okay, having a mentor is a person who has a roadmap, who has passed what you haven't seen. He knows, because to have a mentor, you're really avoiding to go to pitfalls, because you don't want to go to a pitfall and then you regret. And a mentor can shorten your lifespan. If a person who is 60 years old gives you an advice, hey, in terms of marriage, don't marry that. In terms of business, don't start that type of business, or don't invest those things. Yes? So a mentor shows you the roadmap, the pitfalls, and everything. So the question was, what advice will you give?
What advice will you give to those?
I will be giving the advice is first to seek and to be proactive. You have to be proactive, looking for the right mentor in your life. Because without that desire to know that, please advise me, please do that. But how can I force? Personally, sometimes I used to forget when I was young. I used to advise others when they don't want. And I come to realize that you can't force a cow to drink the water. It has to have the energy. It has to have everything to drink that water. So proactive is the easiest way to go and get that mentor. Look for him. He will give you hardship. He doesn't give you time. He doesn't give you. But if you are persistent enough, you'll get that mentor. And he'll know that, okay, this person, he deserves my time. If I tell him something, and then the youth of now, they like avoiding the feedback. Take that positive or negative feedback, and then he will stimulate you to grow. That's why. So a mentor is so important. He will tell you this, and then he will demand from you higher targets. Once you achieve, you keep going, and then maybe from one mentor, next to another mentor. Through that way, you are able to stay focused. I think I'll be advising them, seek mentors, look for them, to avoid all the pitfalls. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Mohammed, for this great lesson. I think from my side, what I've learned is that mentorship and mentors go hand in hand with the continuous learning, whereby mentors guide you to avoid pitfalls, or is it pitfalls or potfalls?
Pitfall,
so that you continue learning from them. I think that's my greatest lesson learned from Ayanle, who is also my mentor. I don't know what about you, my viewer, outside there. So I just want to thank you for staying with us till this minute. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment from our video. Till the next episode. For now, bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.